the brain is a huge topic. It was difficult for us to put together something that made sense. I'm hoping it's going to make a lot of sense tonight. The question always is, why do doctors not practice this way? We get that one a lot, so I pondered this one just a bit. And I don't know. It's pure science, it's common sense, it's 1 + 1. All I can tell you is that change comes about very slowly. And we're already at the point where I did not think I would live to see the day. We're seeing acceptance here in science circles. Whenever I go to symposiums, like I was at a gastroenterology symposium in Los Angeles just a few months ago, a 3-day symposium, gearing up towards becoming one of the first doctors to be fully licensed in functional medicine. And this is a 4-year process that I'm going through. And this class of doctors that I was going with was being taught by faculty from Cornell Medical School, from Harvard, a couple from Europe, but really America was well represented. But I noticed that the doctors from America were at the teaching level, at the medical schools, whereas the European docs were the ones in the trenches practicing like I am. So over there, it's mainstream, easy to follow, makes sense, nobody questions it. Whereas over here, it's still in the research setting, but it's there. And I'm really excited about that because I really did not think I'd see the light of the day. I did find a really interesting book by Benjamin Franklin. Here it is. This might explain some of that. You'll observe with concern how long a useful truth may be known and exist before it is generally received and practiced upon. Some things are just never a new thing. It's amazing how some of these old truths just stay the same. It says in the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. It's true, things just go around and around. And there's been so many things that we've known so powerfully that literally have taken a minimum of 25 years to bring about change, and sometimes as long as 100 years. We knew the earth was round. The evidence was overwhelming. But it took us about 100 years to really wrap our arms around it and accept it finally. I hear there's still a few flat earthers out there, by the way. I'd like to meet a few, that'd be fun. We're going to dive into this whole thing. There's going to be a lot that's missing because obviously we cannot present the whole brain, but we're going to really go to town with it. Sit back, fasten your seatbelts, enjoy. We'll hit questions afterwards. Which will keep to the topic, and then if you need to talk one-on-one on something that's unrelated, we can do that one-on-one after that. So we'll be widely available for that. This seminar will be available on YouTube. We had somebody from the Netherlands call this morning. Is this the new one going to be on YouTube? Yep, it's going to be on YouTube. So they'll be able to download that hopefully within about a week. And of course, it'll be available on DVD also, which is a little bit nicer. Simply because you see better view of the slides and all that. But yes, we have hit the 21st century. We are on YouTube. So just go to our website. Any updates you need on swine flu, we update that on our website also. I put the latest update on that today. Just interesting things like that. So, yeah, I think I'm going to let Dr. Stacey just take it away.
Mark, do you know my shirt?
It might be dangerous.
All right. Sometimes you hear yourself talking and it really scares you. Okay, so we're going to talk about the brain. I'm going to do a little science course, break this down, a little bit of anatomy, and go from there. So this is our brain. I have a little colorful areas here. The parietal lobe. You'll see that I broke down that this one does with sensory and perception. So when we sense things, perceive how they are, this is what the parietal lobe does. Emotional control is our frontal lobe. Temporal lobe is organization of sensory input. A lot of memory happens in the temporal lobe. The cerebellum is more sensory perception. And this is coordination and motor control. Occipital lobe does visual perception. Now when you look at these, there's 3 different areas of the brain that really look at sensory input. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight is really how the brain senses what's going on in the body. It doesn't work on its own, it works with everything else. So we're going to try to tie in together how the different parts of the body work together to affect the brain, because the brain is not the only thing malfunctioning when you're looking at ADHD, autism disorders, mood, depression. Okay? So I'm going to talk about the 4 basic neurotransmitters first, and then we're going to jump right in and talk about how you can help to deal with mood disorders and things like that. I'm going to talk about some excitatory transmitters and some inhibitory. So dopamine, we're starting out with. This one's more of an excitatory. It's built with an amino acid called tyrosine. You'll see that I'll put an amino acid on top of all of these and why they are important. You find all of these amino acids in food. When dopamine levels are low, this is caused from attention and behavior disorders. So you see ADHD, ADD, this is one of the issues that goes on in their body is they have low dopamine receptors in the brain. Now that could mean it's just a malfunction of certain foods in their diet. And I hate that word, so I'm going to try to use food plan or food choices. So what we're going to look at is different ways to stimulate these receptors through how we eat. Okay? This associated foods that actually bring tyrosine and dopamine up are your beans, nuts, seeds, lean poultry, fish, and eggs. And you will find that a lot of these things that are listed here under dopamine are also listed under the other neurotransmitters, so I didn't actually put them on the slide. Dopamine is very much affected when it comes to balancing out attention. And this is one where, they'll use Ritalin for attention disorders. Dopamine isn't a Ritalin deficiency. It's a tyrosine deficiency. And how do you get that working in the gut and looking at whether or not the liver's functioning and we're digesting properly. So then we're going to move into serotonin. This is another inhibitory neurotransmitter. And when you look at inhibitory, it means calming, relaxing, keeps things balanced. When we look at chiropractically, we look at the parasympathetic nervous system as the most important part of the body because it allows the body to relax, sleep, go through our digestion processes, and heal. So serotonin and GABA are 2 inhibitory neurotransmitters, and GABA I'll talk about in just a minute. Now serotonin, a lot of people will put this in with tryptophan. Now where does tryptophan come from? Turkey, yeah. We all get really tired after a big turkey dinner. So a big carbohydrate-laden meal will bring on serotonin. Now also refined carbohydrates in your simple sugars will also bring on a surge of serotonin. Okay, so it will be relaxing. So people who are dealing with depression or having problems just relaxing and calming down, they'll tend to move towards, you'll see them fight the battle with sugar, and they'll tend to go towards the simple sugars, and they'll eat those, and they'll find that it relaxes them for maybe an hour or so. And then that falls off, and then they need it again. So they're working on a nasty cycle. Their body is breaking down what is needed for the tryptophan, but it is not using the proper nutrients for this. The best way to get these things are a good balanced meal. So protein, complex carbohydrates, not your refined or your simple, and good fats all need to be a part of all of this. Low levels, this is where, this one's been really, really big. We took a little survey of just around the town and things, and I found that in my circle of family and friends, there's probably a good 50 to 70% of them that are on some sort of antidepressant medication. I thought that was very, very astounding when I thought, I didn't think we had that much of a problem. But depression is common here in Michigan. One of the things is because of lack of vitamin D. We live in Michigan, we don't get a lot of sun. Vitamin D is very important to help fight mood disorders. You also notice that it'll help fight immune system problems. So, with depression, this is not a lack of Prozac, it's not a lack of your SSRIs. It's more of looking at what your body can do to stop the depression. Whether that's a vitamin D, whether it's methylation that's created from the liver, low folic acid levels, which help with methylation, B6 or B12 vitamins, okay? Those can all be affected with low serotonin levels.